And
This is Dawna, and welcome to Bringing Spirituality into Life. Here we are, Tuesday night, Wednesday. Gosh, I want to say almost
afternoon.
afternoon in Japan.
Yeah, it was snowing today. It's cold in Japan.
We have our
Mhm.
January thaw here in Montana, so it warms up, things melt, the rain comes, it ices over. Next week,
Ooh.
it'll probably be freezing, and then we'll go back to snow. So,
It feels like everywhere has this freezing cold weather right now. Well,
absolutely.
it's supposed to be. It's winter.
I know. That's
What's
how
the
it
big
is.
deal? It's winter.
Stay inside, stay warm, go outside, ski, whatever it is that you do that brings you happiness.
Mhm,
That's all that
mhm.
matters.
Okay, everyone, please say hi. Come in the comments. Oops. I better change my banner. Hold on.
Let us know where you're from
Yeah,
and
let us
hello,
know.
and share with us your fun questions that you might have about bringing spirituality into life. But
Mhm,
something for me that came up earlier today
mhm.
was a process that I was watching a friend of mine go through. And then I went, huh, how do we make a decision when a decision needs to be made? And how do you know that you have confidence in making that decision, that it's the correct decision for you?
Mm, that's a
So,
good one.
how do you know which decision to make and why? And how do you know that you have confidence in making the decision? So, bringing spirituality into life. For those of you who want to comment on that, and how do you make your decisions? How do you know you have confidence in making the decision? And Akemi, I'll let you go with some of your answers.
Mine. First I go with my gut feeling, you know,
Mhm,
just and then I ask myself, what happens if if I choose this? What happens if I choose that? And I'll go through a process of thinking through, you know. But the most important thing is if it's going to make me happy. But
mhm,
sometimes the fear comes up before the happiness. So that's
mhm,
the tricky part. But I would say the fear actually indicates what I need to take for the next step. So I'll look into what kind of fear I will be facing. So if it's about money, I will say, oh, that's something that I created because that's not really
mhm,
the issue. And if it's something about, oh, my family, again, that might be something different
mhm,
than what I'm going to be creating. So the decision making part of me, with me really going into my thoughts and see what the fears are of making either decision and see which one is not the real fear, and then I'll go for it if I'm creating it. So if I avoid the outcome of this situation.
mhm.
Hope I'm answering that question because
Yes. So,
Mhm.
Yiling, hello, and hello to Malaysia.
Yay, the warmth.
They're
Thank
much
you.
warmer than we are here in the States. But Yiling, if you'd like, feel free to comment. How do you know that you're making a decision, and what decision is right for you when it comes to that? The second part of the question, and Kimi, I'll ask you that. How do you know you have confidence in making the right decision? How do you know
Yeah,
that?
the confidence part, right?
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, so to be honest, I am not a confident person in a way of if you talk about confidence, I would say the confidence comes from the the feeling that I will create from within. And I don't actually trust the word confidence because if when you don't have confidence, you're stuck with that word. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So you're like, do I have confidence? Do I have confidence?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I okay doing this? Will I be okay doing this? You know, do I have the hang of it? Am I ready to move forward? And I keep asking, but the answer won't come. So the way that I know my confidence would be again to ask myself whether I want to move forward with this or whether I want to stay where I'm at. And
Mm-hmm.
then if I my answer is I want to stay where I'm at, I may be lacking the confidence of that
Mm-hmm.
answer. But then I'll ask, so why am I Why am I not
Right,
having
where
that
was it
confidence?
going?
Okay,
Oh,
you know
boy.
what?
Yep.
Atsuko is messaging me,
Mhm,
commenting that I do have confidence. Well, the truth is that's what I'm saying. I'm not aware of it. So what I do is ask myself whether I'm ready or not. And if I have the answer no, that
mhm,
means there's something inside me that I see that I don't have confidence. So I'll
mhm,
kind of look into that and see whether if it's like the truth of myself or is it something that I'm creating so that I'm stopping myself. So that's the answer. I can't measure my own confidence because the word itself and the feeling itself doesn't really come with the word. It comes from inside of you. Uh, that's my answer. I
mhm.
hope I'm answering these questions today. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but I feel like I'm going in circles today.
Well, maybe we can highlight this Yiling. She shared,
Mhm.
I touch my heart to see if I can trust the decision.
Mhm.
So, in making decisions by placing your hand on the heart, you'll have that ability to feel, are you making the right decision for you? So, welcome everybody else, Karen, Sergio, and the one in Japanese that I can't.
Atsuko. That's
So,
Atsuko.
welcome for joining us. And how do you guys make decisions when you have to make a decision? And how do you know you have confidence in the decision that you made? So, this is
Mhm.
our part of our topic for tonight, making confident decisions. How do you know? What do you do? What practices do you have in that? I thought about this all day and concluded I have different ways and different methods of making decisions.
Mhm.
And then in making that decision, the confidence part for me is always the same. So I've learned to trust that piece of confidence. But sometimes I just know. Someone will ask a question, you just know it's right there. Yes,
Mhm.
this, no to
Mhm.
that. Because you know yourself so well, you know your authentic self so well that you can just make that decision right away. But sometimes in business, decisions are kind of hard to make. Do I do
Mhm.
A? Do I do B? There's not a right or wrong answer. It's just that it's requiring a choice because you can't do both. Sometimes it's a third center point where it's a blend of A and B, so you get point C, and that's okay. But in that decision making process, what I've learned in business is if it's in alignment with what my goals are and with what it is I want to achieve, then I make the decision to move forward with
Mhm.
something. And if it's not in alignment with what I want and with what I'm creating, then I say no. And so that gets a little bit easier.
Mhm.
Personally, when I have to make decisions, I really stop and assess, is this going to bring me happiness? And
Yeah.
is it going to bring me happiness on the inside? Because if I'm not going to be happy doing it, trust me, that is not the right decision at all.
Mhm.
So, a lot of
Yeah.
times, if you don't know the answer, for me, what I do is I sit in meditation and I will look at the different possible outcomes based on the decision I have to make. Yes, I move forward. No, I don't. Maybe it's, do I take a job? Do I not take a job? This speaking
Mhm.
engagement, maybe it's that one over there. Do I, do magazine articles for one magazine for a year? Do I commit to others? Those types of things. And I take a look at it from a couple of different points of view. But I've learned when I sit in meditation, the answer becomes clearer because you changed your brainwave patterns and you altered it and you can look at it from different perspectives. But
Mhm.
how do I know that the decision that I made was confidence? Is when I make the decision, I know that there is no doubt in my
Mhm.
mind, no
Mhm.
doubt in my heart, and I have 100% faith in myself and my abilities. And
Yeah.
I've looked at it.
So
And
the yeah, but Donna, see the part is if you have 100% faith towards yourself is the tricky part because
yeah,
sometimes that comes with that confidence.
it
Am I
does.
really having that faith? Right? So
But if you're
that
questioning the faith, then it's not 100% confidence because you questioned it, you just didn't move forward with it. So there's this little margin
exactly.
of error.
Right? Yeah, that part. That part. How do we do that?
How
Because
can you do that?
yeah, how do we do that? So, you know a lot of times we have to make decisions. I mean, I have so many decisions to make. Like, do I trust my daughter for doing this? You know, she's not studying. She's taking an exam like in a couple of months, or actually now it's a couple of weeks, and she hasn't done anything. But the school said yes, and she's
Mhm,
saying yes, but she doesn't do anything. Do I trust her? What decision do I make? Do I tell her to choose another option or what? But the thing is, trusting the outcome
uh-huh,
as how it's going to be is actually pretty scary. I mean, I'm saying it's kind of hard to say that, "Oh my god, I have a 100% faith with this outcome," because
mhm,
it might be really bad.
yes,
But if you look at it in a bigger picture, it's a lesson that this person is going to go through or I am going to go through, and it's going to make sense at the end. So
mhm,
trusting that might be the way that I can see the faith if I have it or not. I'll probably have to build my faith in between. So you do good at it. So you have to
I don't
show
know.
us how to have that faith.
I had to think about this all day. Welcome, Carla and Rhoda, and is it
Leckering,
Lecturing?
leckrani, yes.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. And for everybody, we are talking about making decisions. How do you know you make the right decision? And then how do you know confidently that that was the right decision? So share your tips in the comment section and let us know how do you make those decisions in that. And we talked about confidence a little bit, faith. We've said the word trust. How do you trust
Mhm.
yourself in making the decision that way? But when you know yourself authentically and you're pretty good at making decisions for yourself, what happens then when you have to make a decision for somebody else?
I know, that's what I was saying,
Yeah.
sharing. Yeah.
And I think of the situation of my daughter. She's 18. She moved out.
Mm,
Now she has a whole nother set of plans. I met up with her for a little bit yesterday. So, how do you trust another person's decision making abilities? Because you've been out on your own halfway for about 6 weeks, and now you're going to here. So, what advice would you have for trusting other people's decisions?
mhm.
What would you say for
Yeah.
that? Amy?
Mhm. Well, I always you know what? Atsuko did mention that I seem to have confidence, and
Mhm,
I just realized that I always trust the outcome, whatever answer it is. So, because I believe that there is no mistake on this planet,
mhm,
and we always have something going on that is good, which we can't really see when we're making decisions,
mhm,
but just trusting that the person in front of you is going to make the best decision for them and
mhm,
allowing them to choose it. But sometimes you can see some bumps and some downhills that you can kind of imagine. I would say just give them the word and let them decide because I'm there for a reason
mhm,
and I'm there for their choice because there's no nothing that you do not choose to have in your situation in your life. So I'll just say whatever I need to feel like. That'll be my decision,
mhm,
and then allow the person to choose. But
mhm.
if it's when it's your child, it kind of gets a little
It's a little
scary. There's
tricky.
a fear. But I'll be honest about my fears now if they're over 16 because I think it's time for them to actually really know what the fear is all about because they're going to be independent pretty soon and
Mhm,
they need to know what. But as the same as an adult, same as a client, I would tell them, this can happen, but
mhm.
are you willing to take that step? But
Right.
yeah.
So, and I think Carla, her comment here is just great. It says you can't give advice,
Mhm,
just be there for them. And
mhm,
that's what I found myself doing yesterday. I
mhm,
can still love my daughter. I can still support my daughter. I don't have
mhm,
to agree with her decisions, but I'm
mhm,
there to fulfill that role and to empower them. And from a very young age, I've always empowered my children. I didn't enable them. So if they were able to make a decision for themselves, they got to make it. I guided them, I mentored them. Hopefully 90, well, the majority of the time they were in agreement with me after I heard their decision, and I could say, "Did you consider this? And did you consider
Mhm.
this?" And
Mhm. Yeah,
but for the
exactly.
most part, they grew up making those decisions. So I may not agree with it, but and
Mhm.
I trust, but I also know that I'm part of their backbone and I'm there for them along the way
Mhm. Mhm.
every
Yep,
single time.
you're there for them. I think that's
Mhm.
the so telling them that you're gonna be there for them if they
Mm.
need anything. Yeah, that'll be important. We've got lots of feedbacks today. I'm so
Yes,
happy. Sergio, very interesting topic. Putting aside immediate gratification as well sacrifices fear. I can ask myself, what's what is the right thing to do? Yeah, yeah. Putting aside your fear, sacrifice.
absolutely.
Yes,
And
exactly.
that kind of then stems a thought in me is
Mhm.
that if you're putting aside your sacrifices and your fears
Mhm.
and you and the immediate gratification to have long-term gratification or long-term
Mhm.
gratitude, what's
Mhm.
the right thing to do? Well, when
Mhm.
you're going into fear or sacrifice or struggle or avoidance or anything like that, you're really entertaining a vice and it's a low vibrational energy. But
Exactly.
when you are in the energy of what is the right thing to do, and you're doing it from a place of kindness and goodness and thankfulness, you're in virtues, which is good, positive moral characteristics. And you can use that as a guiding post
Mhm.
to make a decision based
Mhm.
on vices and virtues. So, yeah,
Mhm.
love the comment.
Mhm.
Thank you, Sergio.
Mhm. Mm. Yeah.
What's
So
our next comment?
yes, I'm trying to okay, here it is. Okay, I'm trying to look for it. Okay. So Lecarni says, but personally, I don't think there is a right or wrong decision. Yeah. We need to start with that we really want. We follow that based on that we will make a decision. The results of that decision will be based on the beliefs of the person is carrying, whatever will be the results we are going to be. Okay. Creator is there. True. God is there.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
There is really, you're absolutely right, no success or failure. There's no
Mhm.
right or wrong because what's a success for one person might be a failure to somebody else, and what's a failure to some person might be a success. And how many times did like Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein and
Oh, yeah.
Thomas Edison failed before they got it right? They kept
Mhm.
going and they kept doing it. So they had tenacity and a lot of other different virtues that kept
Exactly.
going, which were allowed us to have electricity and light
Mhm.
and all these other great, amazing inventions with
Mhm.
it. For the
You know,
longest time, I thought
um
oh, go
yes.
ahead. I was
No,
gonna say
no,
for
go
the
ahead.
longest time I thought and said that it wasn't about being right or wrong, it was the experience you created and how
Mm.
you felt about that.
Mhm.
But in the end, I've come to realize here the last year or 2 that even if it was an experience you did not enjoy, there was still a silver lining gift.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so yes, in alignment with your comments as well.
Mhm.
And
And
what were you
then
gonna say, Akimi?
yeah, well, the thing is the gift, sometimes people don't realize. So if you're in practice, like Karina is a theta healer, yes, we can be
Mhm.
there for them so that they can recognize their gift that they're receiving. And I think basically that's why we're there for them, is to
Mhm.
allow them to go into them and see what their gifts are. And you
Yes.
know, you can do it yourself even though you don't practice anything. You can ask yourself, what am I learning, or what's the gift that I'm getting out from this? It might be hard because sometimes,
Mhm.
but the thing is, all these top leaders and everyone, they have gone through all these mistakes and failures, but they always get the gift out of it, so they know the power to move forward.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like in school, a lot of people say like the exams and tests are bad or wrong, but there's a gift in that, is that you never give up. You
Mhm.
learn how to grasp the right answer. Well, the right answer that they consider is right, but still, you
Mhm.
you actually can go through that process of challenging yourself and allowing yourself to encourage yourself and move forward. And I think that's what we're learning in school.
Mhm.
Of course, information as well. Yeah.
One of the
So,
things that I
mhm,
do also want to say and share about gifts is the gift, those silver lining gifts may not be apparent in the moment it happens, and it may not be apparent for a while later. Just like
Mhm.
with beliefs and energy, we're always peeling back the layers of onions to get
Yes.
down to the core of it to change it. Well, we're also always building petals onto a lotus flower. And as you learn one rung of petals, you'll learn another set of gifts to those petals. And here's what I mean. There was a period of time where I was in a relationship with another person. It was a spiritual relationship. We had lived at the ashram together, and then we moved out together from that. And after 2 years with this person, they decided to become violent towards me and physical abuse.
Mm.
So in the beginning, I had a really hard time with the word forgiveness. But over time, I had
Mm.
forgiveness. Then I had understanding. Then I had compassion. And then here it is 12, 14 years later that I realized, and I actually said this live on air, that what I really learned from that was that I was worthy to live and that I was worthy to live this life because I'm still alive. That
Mhm.
person has since then crossed over and is no longer here on earth. But because of that, and I'm worthy to live this life in the way that I imagine, which is abundantly and prosperously. And I have a message to share. So I didn't get that layer of lotus petals, that's that absolute silver lining gift, until like 12 years after the event, although I had worked on it continuously. And once I got that, I understood a purpose that's deeper than what I had ever imagined from before. So,
Mhm. 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 Yeah. Um, there's so many ways to get to that core of onion. But
mhm,
when you recognize the onion
yep,
becomes the lotus petal, we're
yes,
kind of doing that layer by layer. But we're
absolutely.
not the onion itself. We're more likely the onion and the lotus petals.
Hmm.
So
Yep, it's
remember,
exactly,
yeah, right. But we kind of think that we are the onion, but that's just the process of going into the lotus petal. So,
exactly.
yeah.
I agree with that.
That
So,
was a great one. Mm.
for those of you who are joining us, this is Dawna and Akemi. We are bringing spirituality into life. So give us a shout out with a hello. Tonight, we are talking about making decisions. How do you know you make a right decision for you or a not so good decision? And how do you know with confidence that you chose correctly? So share in the comments some of your experiences and some of your tips because we would like to share them. And
Mm.
because her name again in Japanese is
Atsuko.
Atsuko. She says, when we don't have doubt to success, I think we can do it. Do not worry, only 1 micron. I say this for myself.
Mm.
So
That's a
let
good
go of
one.
the worry and don't
Mhm.
doubt the success because you can do it. That is great advice because you can, because all things are always possible.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. It's always possible. We just forget.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We do. We do. And
Mm.
then one of our other comments, Lec Renee says, and now, or excuse me, sorry, Carla, I was on the wrong comment there. They're at an age when we're planting the seeds. We can't change much when they are above 16, we know. So we're always planting
Mm.
seeds. So, how do you plant seeds with your children to have them grow so they always know how to make correct decisions? What would you say to that, Miss Akimi?
Me having 5 children.
Yes, yes, you. I have 5, but
I know you do too.
3 are biological, 2 are my step, so
Well, so, 2 days ago, my daughter had the coming of age ceremony. So she's actually literally an adult in Japan, right?
mhm,
And the eldest one was the biggest challenge for me with going through all the events that she had in her life, but I always trusted her. So the trust of the child, I mean, sometimes it's really hard to trust a child because they might be, you know, doing naughty things that you think it's naughty. Well, maybe common sensely, yes, naughty. And then I would say no to things and watch them on how they will react to the common sense that we are going to be teaching them, because it's
Mhm.
important to teach. Sometimes I will raise my voice. I mean, some people say that it's wrong, but sometimes they really need to know that there are people in reality that they will have to face.
Mhm.
So I kind of give them all the sides and experiences, and actually tell them, share them, show them that can happen in their life. So for me, planting seeds is actually asking them, where would you like to plant them when in your reality? Then I will plant it for you.
Yes.
So the ground is the most important thing that I teach them, and how much water they need to water than planting the seed itself.
Nice. One of the things that I think about with my own kids is that when they're little and they're young, they're absorbing everything in a theta brainwave. And then
Mhm,
it's not until they're about 6 or 7 they really start engaging in alpha brainwaves and beta brainwaves, and as they get older they engage in all the different brainwave patterns. It's just whichever one is more predominant. And so knowing that with my youngest, who is
mhm.
going to be 11 next month, she
Ooh.
was watching I was watching her go through all the theta brain waves and how she learned. And then once she got to about 6 or 7, I was watching to see how she was making her decisions and
Mm,
what she was doing, because from 6 or 7 to the next set of to about 12, 13, 14, and through there, they are playing out everything you taught them and that they absorbed from
they
those
do, they do.
waves. And it's been really, really interesting, especially at dinner conversations, for different things and different topics. And then once they're about 14, they're pretty well set in their ways with
Mm,
who they are and the decisions that they're going to make. And from that point forward, you can be there to guide them, to mentor them, but they're pretty much their own person by then and are making their own decisions and choosing for themselves in that way.
mhm,
So plant
mhm.
those seeds when they're babies.
Yes, and make the right environment for them that they can plant
Yes,
their seeds. Yes.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, we just have a couple minutes left here. If any of you have any other tips or comments that you would like to share about making decisions and bringing confidence in, this would be the time to share, because we'd be
Mm.
happy to comment and share back with you on that.
Mhm.
Any last moments or closing thoughts, Akemi, for creating that confidence? I think it's a really interesting point, because I see you as an incredibly confident person, but yet sometimes with you, you're like, I don't know if I have confidence in this. The right thing. Am I making the right decision? It's like, yeah, you are, because you know in your heart.
Mhm.
So, so how do you think you might overcome self confidence? Because the world outside sees you as confident.
Um,
How do you get it internally?
when I get doubt,
Yeah.
I will keep asking myself, what am I doubting? What am I questioning?
Mhm.
Because that's when I am not aligned. That's
Mhm.
the only thing I do.
Mhm.
So
I think
I
that's an important point, though.
and I use that compass. I
Mhm.
mean, sometimes people say, like, don't use that is sort of advice, but in a way, it's very human. And we are made to actually question us. So I
Mhm.
use that feeling that when it comes to the point that, um, am I making the right decision? Am I
Mhm.
doing it right? I will actually ask myself, so why am I asking myself? And I just keep asking until I get to a point that, you know what? This is ridiculous. I'm just going to go with it. Because I think I asked enough questions to
Mhm.
question myself that I doubted myself. And that's when I think I do grasp that confidence, maybe
Mhm.
tie the knot in my heart and say, here we go. We're just going to nail this.
I think you also had it right, um, in the beginning part of our show when you said, "Well, sometimes if I have a fear, I know I have something that I need to look at or
Mhm.
clear,"
Exactly.
because fear in itself does not come from love. It's an absence of love, and doubt is a form of fear.
It
And
is.
if that's the case, you're making a decision based on a fear, which is a vice, instead of love, which is a virtue, which is all things and how we ought to maybe create decisions from that place of love and from that
Mhm,
place of kindness and happiness than any other place.
mhm. Well, Donna, you said it beautifully.
I only summarized what you said.
I think we're a great team.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Our half an hour is up. You guys made it fun for us. So thank you. We'll see you guys next Tuesday night with another great topic. So be ready. You never know what we're going to be talking about on bringing spirituality into life.
Yeah, and any topics that you want to, you want us to share, leave it in the comments. We would be happy to talk about it.
Have a
Thank
good
you, thank you,
evening.
thank
Good
you.
afternoon.
Yes, bye. Love you guys.